Good Monday morning, everybody. This is Pastor Jacob Snowden, and it is the Monday after Good Shepherd Sunday. I like Good Shepherd Sunday because I like to imagine almost every pastor across the country trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel of every fact they've ever learned about sheep or shepherding. And that's well and good. I enjoyed services at Woods yesterday, and hopefully wherever you were watching services that you enjoyed them too. But there are multiple weeks. Good Shepherd is one of them. Christ the King Sunday is another of them, where we're stuck a little bit with these metaphors that don't always resonate with our lives in the 21st centuries. What does it mean for Christ to be a shepherd or a king if we don't depend on sheep, shepherds, or kings? Sally McFague has an excellent book called Models of God. It's older now. It was written in the 70s, but the subtitle is Theology for an Ecological Nuclear Age. And she points out in that book that the images of shepherds and kings don't necessarily help us to understand nuclear energy or an ecological crisis. I'm not sure how much it helps us during the coronavirus. The point is, and this is kind of my musing for today, how do we arrive with the metaphors that we use for God? Obviously, some of them are from Scripture. That's where we get Good Shepherd and Christ the King. But even in those metaphors, we have to work within them. For example, one of the passages from John 10, the text for yesterday, Jesus says, "I am the gate," or "I am the door." And I think we know that that means that Jesus doesn't come unhinged. That's not what Jesus is trying to say. So what is Jesus trying to say, and how do we come to know that when Jesus says, "I am the door," it's something like Jesus opens the way for us to enter the divine life? I'm not quite sure. And if we are to update our metaphors, that's tricky business too. It's not as easy to say that God is our president. We don't elect God. That's not a part of the metaphor. It doesn't quite work the same way. So how do we come up with metaphors that are meaningful to us, that communicate truth about who God is and how God cares for us, if we can't depend on outdated metaphors and our current metaphors are tricky to use? That's kind of the task for this week. But to give you a little help, in Good Shepherd Sunday, we quoted Psalm 23, where we hear that God leads us beside still waters. So whether it's the ancient world or it's the modern world, especially if you're a hiker or you live by the water, I think what that means for us, at least what it means for me, is that God is trying to lead us towards a sense of calm and a sense of peace. So how do these ancient metaphors work even during the coronavirus? It's a turbulent time. So I hope that this week you find ways that God is leading you towards a sense of tranquility, calm, and peace when things are so rough. Know that God goes with you, and I hope that is a help to you this week. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. I'll see you next Monday.